Good morning, teacher and classmate. This day we are going to solve page 125 of our book, Giving Advice. Let's start. We are going to read the email Lisa has written in response, ignoring the mistake underlined. I'm very sorry to hear about what happened with Alice. I'm sure there is some reasonable explanation for her behavior, so don't be too upset. I hope my advice will help you deal about your problem. First of all, you should talk to her as soon as possible. If I were you, I would tell her that her behavior disappointed me. It is important to be honest with your friends about how you feel, because hearing your feeling can only cause bigger problems. The way I see it, Alice probably changed her mind about studying, decided to go out to clear her head a little, and ran into her friends. I don't think she planned anything behind your back. Things aren't always as they seem, so maybe you shouldn't jump to conclusions. There is one more thing I'd like to point out. Have you ever thought of expanding your circle of friends? You won't feel so lonely and you'll be able to go out with other people apart from Alice. Why you don't arrange to go out with Alice and her friends? That way you'll get to know them. I'm not saying it'll be easy, but friendships are the important part of life. Make sure you write back and let me know how everything turned out. Best wishes, Lisa. Which of the functions 1 to 8 are expressed in her email? Expressing enthusiasm, giving advice, expressing sympathy, expressing regret, complaining, requesting information, apologizing, making suggestions. It's correct. Expressing regret. I'm very sorry to hear about what happened with Alice. I'm very sorry. Expressing regret. But there is one more. Giving advice. It's correct. First of all, you should talk to her as soon as possible. If I were you, I will tell her that her behavior disappointed me. Giving advice. Continue. Read the email again, paying attention to the mistake, which have been marked using the correction code below. Correct the mistake. Dear Emily, I'm very sorry to hear about what happened with Alice. There is a question mark, but it is correct? No. Why? Because we use question mark to indicate a question. But Lisa is expressing regret when she says, I'm very sorry to hear about what happened with Alice. This is affirmative sentences, so we use the period at the end of the sentences. I'm very sorry. There is some reasonable explanation for her behavior, so don't be too upset. I hope my advice will help you deal about your problem. The preposition about is grown. We are going to replace it with. First of all, you should talk to her soon as possible. Here we need a word that forms a time clause to indicate when an action happens, and that word is as. First of all, you should talk to her as soon as possible. If I were you, I would tell her that her behavior disappoints me. I will is incorrect. Remember to the conditional sentences tied to? Well, we use if I were you to express an opinion or give advice, and the modal verbs we use is would. Would is grow. It is important to be honest with your friend about how you feel, because hiding your feeling can only cause bigger problems. The way I see it, Alice probably changed her mind about studying, decided to go out to clear her head a little, and ran into her friends. I don't think she planned anything behind your back. Things aren't always as they seem, so maybe you shouldn't jump to conclusions. This word has a spelling error because conclusion is a writing with S. If we are not sure of the spelling of a word, we can make sure by checking a dictionary. There is one more thing I'd like to point out. Have you ever thought of expanding your circle of friends? You won't feel so lonely and you'll be able to go out with other people apart from Alice. Why you don't arrange to go out with Alice and her friends? This is interrogative sentences, so structure must be the auxiliary verbs first and then the subject. Don't you arrange to go out with Alice and her friends? That way you'll get to know them. I'm not saying it'll be easy, but friendship are the important part of life. We use the article "and" when the next word begins with a vowel sound, important. And then we use when we talk about something specific or something unique. For example, I bought two t-shirts and a dress. The dress is white, or the sun hits the hearts. Make sure you write back and let me know how everything turns out. Write can be an adjective, a noun, an adverb, and even a verb. In a sentence, it can mean that something is correct, or it can be used to say that you agree. The particle back is an adverb and is used in literal combination with verb of the moment to say that something or someone returns to a place where they were before. So in this case, we are going to use the verb get next to the verb particle to form a phrasal verb that correspond to these sentences. This is the email Lisa with its correction. The period, the preposition with, as, the modal verb would, as, structure, the question, the article, and the verb. Rate the greeting tags below. What advice would you give your friend? Below is part of an email you have received from a friend. Read it and write a reply. Remember how I helped Tony get a job at the company where I work? Well, I think I'm regretting it now. Many of our other colleagues have started complaining that he is being lazy and that they have to finish his work for him. I've been helping him out too, but lately I've noticed that he wastes his time doing other things, like chatting on the net or talking on the phone. If our boss finds out, we could both get in trouble. How should I handle it without getting into an argument? Should I continue helping him out until he realizes his mistake on his own? To write an informal email giving advice, we use the following plan. Greeting first, on the left-hand side of the page. I'm sorry to hear that you're having problems. I understand what you're going through. I know how you feel. With this phrase, we can start our email, referring to the problem and expressing concern or sympathy. And the main part, we say what we think may be causing the problem, give our advice, and make various suggestions using phrases like maybe you should, if I were you, if I were in your position, if I were in your shoes. And in the final paragraph, we make a comment using phrases like, I hope everything goes well, good luck. Let me know how everything turned out. And signing off on the left-hand side of the page, we use an ending in our name below that. For example, dear, we put a comma after the name. Dear Diego, I'm sorry to hear that you're having problems with Tony in your job, but you don't regret having helped him. Perhaps someone in your family is alone for this reason they must communicate continuously. Why don't you invite him to have a cup of coffee and talk about what happened to him? Maybe he can change his behavior. I hope